I will add about the Edo Tensei thing. Madara, who is not Kabuto, was allowed to just weave the hand signs and just break free from Kabuto's Edo Tensei. So there is that precedent. Although it's not like Itachi weaving the signs to break Madara free, it's Madara himself, but
To
still.
be fair, I know
The
what they
other thing though
say
is,
there, but I still feel like that doesn't make as much sense as Madara just casting Edo Tensei on himself before he disappears, rather than breaking the breaking of the Edo Tensei. It's
well,
stupid.
the problem though is, okay, my main issue with your theory for Edo Tensei, the soul needs to be in the Pure Land to summon them. As we established, you shouldn't be able to summon a soul to Earth with Edo Tensei if it requires them to be in the Pure Land. Madara was still on Earth. He
The
wasn't in the Pure Land, so
Okay,
how would he
but
have
I
used
feel
it on
like
himself?
you were talking about the jutsu itself rather than the application for the singular person. So if Madara had the ability to do that, it should have stopped every other Edo Tensei from disappearing as well.
Well, why would it stop every other one?
Because he's stopping the fact that the Edo Tensei is breaking.
Well, he's only doing a no, he's only breaking the contract with the caster.
I don't think he should be able
Because
to
he
do
broke
that.
the contract, I don't think he should be able to either. But he did. That's what he says. He broke the contract. So Kabuto released the Edo Tensei, but because Madara was no longer under Kabuto's contract, he didn't have to go. I don't think he should
The
be able to do that either, but
I don't think that's how that
he did.
would even work in the Naruto universe anyways. I feel like Hanzo broke his contract with Kabuto. And you know what happens when a summoning animal breaks their contract? They go back to the place they were summoned from.
Yeah, exactly. When the contract, the time limit for the contract is up, they go back home. Like,
Yeah.
that's why it shouldn't have worked. Because if anything, when Madara did that, rather than keeping himself alive, doing that should have, like, for example, if all the Edo Tensei like Hanzo knew to do it, I feel like theoretically that should have just sent them home early. If anything, like it should just be like Madara reaps the
Yeah.
signs and then boom, he just goes to the Pure Land. He accidentally releases himself.
That's funny. We could do that
This is
in
what
our
really
bridge.
should have.
That'd be really
Yeah, like
funny.
write it down because that's actually what should have happened, if anything,
Yeah.
logically
Oh,
speaking.
the thing with Madara, after Kabuto releases the Edo Tensei, I would not consider Madara under Kabuto's Edo Tensei anymore. Because Kabuto doesn't have an Edo Tensei casted.
That's yeah, exactly, and also he's already been releasing. Like his body was leaving. It's like his soul was leaving the body because the contract was
Yeah.
broken. So
So
he shouldn't be able to summon himself back
so who would you say Madara is Edo Tensei'd under?
himself. Which,
Yeah, I
even
agree.
though
There you
it's
go.
not, I know. I was gonna say that's why I like your
Exactly.
theory for the most part. It's silly, is it? But like the thing is, it's like he put himself under his own contract, but not like he didn't Edo Tensei himself. It's that he put himself under his own contract, which sounds similar, but it's not quite the same point. But he shouldn't be able to do that,
Sure.
to be
It's
honest.
it's
Like, if
almost conceptually similar to Minato tightening his own seal.
kind of, but realistically speaking,
I
though,
expect you to
I'm
disagree,
gonna
but
be
go ahead.
honest. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think everyone would have liked this, but Madara should have just gone back, and then Setsu should have just backstabbed Obito and revived Madara with Rene Rebirth, and then Madara just comes back then. Because let's be real, I know he does some stuff, of course, like fighting Hashirama, but it's mostly off screen. He doesn't do a ton after the Kage fight and before being revived with Rene Rebirth. He's
In
kind of just there for a lot of it.
in that
You don't
case,
really need him.
would you place the Sasuke Itachi versus Kabuto fight after the 5 Kage? Because otherwise that fight doesn't finish.
Yeah, yeah. So in that case, I would have the 5 Kage fight finish before Itachi versus Kabuto ends at the very least.
Okay.
You could even, if you wanted, have Madara go to where Naruto is, when the Biju are there, and then it gets undone and all of them go. Maybe you have some line of dialogue. Oh, you know what could work? because when Madara shows up, it's not too early on. It doesn't take too long before Obito. I mean, I think that Ten Tails may have been revived by this point, but remember the line when Obito's like, "You need someone to revive you with Rene Rebirth." In other words, your life is in my hands, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think you could just have them say that line, and then Madara gets undone, and maybe Obito smirks at Madara or something. You do something, and then, or maybe Madara smirks or whatever. Anyway, and then Madara comes back through Black Zetsu. Like that could have worked just fine. Because like again, Madara doesn't do a ton as an Edo Tensei after this point. You could have him just maybe he does Uchiha Reflection and the Wood Dragon on Naruto for a minute, but then like anyway, the point is because Kakashi and Guy show up before the Edo Tensei's release because they help fight the Biju. So most of it could stay the same, really.
I feel like you're mostly
Just have Madara show up.
you're just biased towards Muscle Daddy Toji from JJK. You just think he's cool. That's why you're saying this.
What? I don't get the correlation. I feel like you're just trying to troll me, like purely.
How do you not get the
without any
correlation?
basis.
That's exactly what Toji does. He dies and come back
What is what?
through some other means.
No, that had absolutely no basis on where I was going with this, for one thing. And second of all,
Nonsense.
Toji wasn't planning to come back for any
Perfect
reason.
analogy.
No, it's not. Because Toji's return is nothing. It wasn't part of his plan or anything. And that had no bearing on the reason I was talking about this is because of Madara's Edo Tensei reversal nonsense, not because of Toji. I don't know why you said that.
Nonsense.
The fact that I was confused says it all. Anyway.
Well, you can say he doesn't physically do anything, like, oh, he only holds Naruto down with the Wood Dragon. His presence alone and his narrative moments are still big. Like, when he first arrives and Naruto's like, what happened to everyone over there? He's like, oh, I guess they're not doing so well.
Yeah, you keep that. That can stay in this case. I'm saying he's not there for long. Like, obviously, he's just not going to be there for like 100 episodes before he gets Rene Rebirth. He'll be there for a little bit, do some of the important stuff. Like I said, is his conversation with Obito. Keep that. Just have it be earlier. When Naruto's like, what happened to them? He's like, oh, I don't think they're doing too well. That obviously would stay. Just keep like the bare minimum.
Hashirama's first arrival and how funny people think that is.
Yeah, so that one is funny. That would have to go in this case, unfortunately.
Would you?
I mean, there's nothing you can do.
Even if you have to like rewrite events, would you have Madara, even if alive through Rin and Rebirth, would you have alive Madara fight Edo Hashirama still in the war? Because even the way we got it now in the canon, we didn't really get a Madara versus Hashirama fight in the war.
Exactly. I don't have a whole lot of problem with saying. I mean, obviously, I want to see it because who doesn't? But realistically speaking, it's not like we really got it. So, all things being equal, you could have just literally just had Madara get revived. He wakens from whatever coffin, and then he just comes to the battlefield immediately, basically. Or maybe even Zetsu just has his body like nearby. He's got it all ready to go so that he can get there quickly. And then he shows up and they're like, what just happened? And then like, how did he come back again? And then they explain. I mean, because that's kind of what happens anyway. They're like, what just happened? So
I mean, this is so funny because I literally do the same thing in my anime, to where, no spoilers, but like the two strongest characters by far are fighting elsewhere as the B story, while the protagonist and antagonist are fighting in the A story somewhere else. But like, you see both fights as you cut back and forth.
Yeah.
So it's just ridiculous to have like the two rulers, basic gods of the universe fighting, and you just don't see it. Like, they're not even elsewhere. They are in sight of the rest of the alliance, and just nobody like what happened to changing the maps? Are they not transforming this battlefield? God.
And it's like they're literally using the Wood Golem and Wood Dragon versus Perfect Susanoo. Like, they're in the full. I mean, Hashirama's not using the 1,000 hands, but otherwise it's full scale.
Yeah, like Madara simply unsheathing his sword was slicing mountaintops. And they're just casually full-on fighting next to the full-on alliance. No one cares.
I know it's crazy. Like I wouldn't even want to say we get a real scene. We just get a scene of them standing off, or like them jumping through the divine trees. Like we don't actually see any fighting at all. We just see the ending when Hashirama's got him in a wood dragon at the deity gates, and that's about it. It's just the aftermath. We don't actually see the fight.
And the anime has the worst animation as Madara is explaining Kaguya to Hashirama, and they're just jumping through the tree or whatever.
That's what I'm saying. They're just jumping on the trees. Like
They're just casually. It
it
looks
was
so
so funny.
goofy.
Especially given like what the divine tree is and what it's
I
trying to do to
know.
everyone. They're just like jumping through it like
It's like they're jumping up and down on a trampoline.
literally. I think in my rewrite at the very least, I would have them actually fight on screen.
Yeah.
All else being equal.
Okay.
No problems with that.
Okay, but what about Jubito though? So would you have this before or after that?
Oh, well, Madara, I mean, unfortunately, Madara would have to just go before then. This is the problem, is because obviously it's a give and take. Because some of those moments, like Madara trying to revive himself, but Jubito
But
actually
oh well.
faking him out
Yeah,
with
and
the
then with the
stealing jutsu.
rods.
I
Yeah,
mean, you would just have to
exactly.
lose it in order of fixing the Edo Tensei problem. You have to just pick one or the other, or you
This
have to
isn't
have
even a
Madara stick
problem for me. Like, you just want Madara to not exist in the story, and you're saying, oh, it's a give and
That's
take,
not
like there's a
true.
strength and
That's
weakness.
not
It's not
true.
a strength
That's
at all.
It's not true. I'm referring to how he stayed. I was going to say, or you can have him stay for a better reason. Logically sound, understandable, making sense reason for how he doesn't go back.
But I don't mind how he stays in the canon, because I headcanon it into something else anyways.
But but that's stupid. No offense, but like that because the fact that you needed to headcanon it into something else, as you quoted, proves the point of
Okay,
why it's
but it's like
bad.
Omnipotence in Boruto before the...
Reason would be bad because it didn't do that.
Yeah, if it's explained enough, which is the problem. Like, I feel like the Madara one's not even explained enough to say that's actually for sure 100% what's exactly happening. It doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, I mean that's part of the problem. It doesn't make sense. It's not explained enough.
Yeah, it
Like
doesn't make sense
if it was
because it's
just
not explained enough. I'm not going to say it just doesn't make sense. Whereas Omnipotence, it's been explained enough. It just doesn't make sense.
yeah, exactly. No, I'm not gonna say it's as bad as Omnipotence.
It's
And
been
by no means, but
over-explained, if
yeah, no,
anything.
yeah. But like for the Madara thing, like I said, when I was saying the whole get rid of Madara thing, you have what he did or nothing. If you can just make what he did better explained, or if you have an explanation off the top of your head, go for it. That's fine. Just give a better reason for why he doesn't go. That also works. But if you can't, then I would say he could just leave and come back. It would work in the story because he gets Rene rebirth anyway. And frankly, it doesn't even make sense how he gets Rene rebirth in his Edo Tensei body. Like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, he should have been his other body should have just come out of the coffin anyway.
Well, I
Just have
agree that Madara would work because he's in the story. So yeah, I do think the story would work because Madara is in it, yes. So the more Madara, the better. So I'd say don't make him go away and come back.
that's I'm not gonna entertain that. Anyway, back to the deep forest emergence. The thing is, like I said, you're not gonna like it because objectively, Madara does a two-step thing for it, but
5 hours, 21
they
minutes.
really just combine the two into one jutsu. I hate to say it, but that's just part of the infinite Tsukiyomi. Like it just is. Madara shouldn't have done it in two steps the way he did for this reason, but the data books, the way it's undone, the way Zetsu says that the infinite Tsukiyomi turns them into white Zetsu and all this shit, it's just part of the jutsu. It's just all one thing. You can even call it a retcon if you want. That it changed after Madara did it, but at least now that's just kind of what it is. It's just one thing.